Every single iron that went through, that was built there at GE was plugged in and remained plugged in for a full hour, you know, from the time that they plugged it in to the time it got unloaded. You know, it got thoroughly checked. And some of those irons just exploded, and I remember the first iron that I saw explode and sparks come out, and I wanted to run, and everybody just kept right on working, you know, like it was an everyday thing, and it was an everyday thing. I had always wanted to work at GE, because I always heard it was a good paying job, you know, job security and the whole bit. I loved my job. I loved going to work. I look forward to going to work.
The metal iron was invented in Ontario, only 2 short blocks west of where the iron plant is now. That was a great invention in 1902 because Edison had invented electricity, but nobody had invented much of anything to use it for. There was a few light bulbs and not much else. And the iron was probably the first electrical appliance.
Well, they started out, it was a small production deal, maybe 400 or 500 irons a day, and then increased it to about 1,000 a day, you know, after World War II. And then along came the automation, and they built overhead conveyors, and everything became automated. Press rooms ended up, and we began producing 10, 15,000 irons a day, maybe 20,000. In 1969, we got the first word of it, and we pretty well realized, some of us, what was going to happen. That they developed a plastic iron over here, and that they were going to go overseas, and they said that any metal irons they made would be made in this country, which was a lie, because they started building factories down in different parts of the world to take care of the metal iron too.
Well, my grandfather worked here, my dad works here, my uncle works here, my sister and her husband did work here, but they've moved on, and my mom worked here, and then myself.
What's everybody going to do now? All right.
I don't know. I don't know which way to turn.
The biggest concern I had was the fact that if they were going broke, losing money, I could understand the closing. I had trouble understanding the closing of the major iron manufacturer in the United States. We produced 74% of all the metal irons consumed in the United States in 1981 right out of our Ontario plant. And I had a very difficult time understanding where somebody had the control of the market and was making a profit, why the need to close. And of course, ultimately, it was clarified in my mind that they told me in words of one syllable they were going to make plastic irons in Singapore, and that they could make the plastic iron in Singapore and sell it for roughly the same price as they sold the metal iron. They could make the plastic iron cheaper, therefore they'd make a larger profit.
Jack, the cameras want a different angle on that pole.
No, we can get it over there.
So where are they going?
There was no reason for them to close this plant, except that they made these massive commitments abroad, and they could not fill those commitments without closing this plant. That doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right.
Okay, did you get the shovel?
Yeah, we got 2 hammers, we got the shovel.
If they didn't want to stay in the business, let somebody else have it. But don't nail up the doors the way they nailed them up on us. And don't lie about it the way they lied about it.
Hi, Dick.
Hi, Mary. Happy funeral.
Yeah, happy funeral.
We could have understood it if it hadn't been making a profit. You know, that wasn't the issue. Money was not the issue. You know, the company admitted that time and again. The investments that they made abroad, the commitments they had abroad, that was the problem.
Where's your hatchet?
Need a hatchet.
Here it is.
The hatchet.
People in this country, I don't know if they're asleep or maybe they're working every day and they see things like this and they feel sad about it, but the next day they forgot about it until it happens to them. General Electric Company don't want to be embarrassed, I don't think. But I wanted to embarrass them. And when they left town, I wanted to know that, hey, those guys in Ontario, boy, they put up a fight. And I know we did. And what we'd like to see is maybe this might be a turning point in this country, and this won't happen to some other people. We've got to stop it.
Alberto.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Everything was shaping up to it. They were running the plant without any improvements and no equipment being brought in, nothing bought, and just running the heck out of everything, no repairs made, and just draining it and milking it out for every little cent they could get out of it without putting any cost into it. And then they were gradually phasing out each kind of iron.
And the only thing they had ever replaced is something that quit and had to be replaced to continue production. As far as new improvements or anything, they never did anything. And
how long was that going on?
oh, I know for the last 10 years that I worked there. The company announced that they were in trouble. They were going to either shut down or sell it or something. So we decided that we were going to have one big march in protest of GE going to, possibly shutting down the plant. And I guess it was one of the biggest marches Ontario ever had for a protest over something. So we decided right then that we were going to fight the General Electric Company. We're not just going to let them come in and say, folks, we're shutting down, and then us just forget it, give us our money, and the end of it. We decided we were going to fight them until the very last day.
The chance of us saving the plant was against, extremely high odds. We did everything we could to bring focus, publicity, and national attention to what was going on here. And in conjunction with that, we worked with the mayor of the city and the city council and the churches to find other buyers.
We had at least one company who is a national manufacturer who was willing to buy the plant and continue to manufacture the metal iron. Certainly General Electric had the right to decide to quit manufacturing, but they simply would not meet with this manufacturer, and therefore the iron plant did close as an iron plant.
What is the lowest starting wage you will accept on your next job? This is bottom line. How low will you go? Of course, anybody wants to receive the highest wage possible. We're talking about here, how low will you go? You've thought about this during the period when you knew the plant was closing down. You should give it some thought. The majority of the people here, their wage was more than is generally paid in this community. The probability is you are not going to find work at the wage you were making. You will find this out as you go out and apply for jobs. Take a look at what the jobs are paying. That is going to tell you what the wage demand is in the area. You should be looking, you should be considering as you go along, probably dropping your wage demand.
This is the beginning of what can happen with big companies. It's not only the beginning, they've already been doing it. I mean, they're starting going over there, making the production over there for 70 cents an hour, where we were drawing $8 and $9 an hour, That's a nice profit. And I feel very strongly this way, if they get by with it, what is going to happen to the next generation and the next generation? The kids are going to be out roaming the streets like they are down in Mexico with malnutrition, and they can't afford to send their children to school. And, I mean, it's just going to be sad. I feel like we are the generation that is getting hit by it. the beginning of what could really be drastic to this country.
Take General Electric, they got all their small appliances, all their toaster, almost everything is gone and left this country. Light bulbs, and even the big stuff now is leaving, going to Ireland, a place like that, like big turbine generators, stuff like that. They're shipping out of this country. And it's a darn shame, because this country's not going to have anything left. And if people don't wake up, they're going to be sorry. They won't have nothing to be sorry about. You'll see riots and everything else in this country never, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's leading to me, I think. You think Watts was a big deal? Well, wait till in Chicago, wait till these people all get out of work. Because there's nothing here to keep them working anymore. They're moving it all out.
You know, it's weird how this country was brought up, and now how this country is helping other people instead of the American people. It's weird. We work our butts off for this country, and this country gives it all to other countries. No, that's unfair. It's unfair to the American people. It's unfair to everybody, except big business.
It was the #1 employer in the community for 75 years. The roots were very deep, you know. Second, third, fourth generation employees, families in that plant. We all grew up together. We knew each other. We'd worked together. We built the city together. It was just terribly, terribly deep-rooted, that plant, and the members and the workers in that shop in this community. It's going to be hard. I don't think any of us yet know where we're going to go or what we're going to do. I don't. And I know they don't. They're calling me. I'm going half crazy. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell me.
What's going to happen to us? And they close the plant down, and everybody's sad or something for a few days, but 6 months later or a year later, where's those people that lost their jobs? Has any of them got jobs, or how many, or what's happened to them? Or some of them might commit suicide, lose their homes or something, but nobody seems to care. People that we elect in office, you know, they come down on the bandwagon when it's time for them to come up for elections and say, hey, we're all for you people and all this stuff, you know, and after they get elected, why, they forget about you people. And I've seen that happen many, many times.
I'm your General Electric progress reporter, Don Herbert, and tonight we're going visiting as the guests of Ronnie and Nancy Reagan in their new home in Pacific Palisades. One of the first things you notice about their home is the practical beauty of the lighting, and the Reagans have promised to show us how modern lighting helps them live better electrically.
All right. Lighting helps us live better all over the house. Now, if this weren't a company night, we'd probably find Nancy in the bedroom.
Reading, and the light's just perfect for it. The correct distance up and behind. And look at this, a switch that controls the lights all over the house, inside and out. I press the button, they go on instantly.
Patty might be in her playroom. That's her doll, Cynthia, she's playing with. Notice the lights. They look like Japanese lanterns, and they're just as colorful. Meanwhile, back in the den, Papa Reagan might be going over his script. And that's ideal, soft, over-the-shoulder light. So you see how modern light conditioning helps us have a more livable house.
You haven't forgotten the surprise, have you?
No, ma'am. We have a dimmer control for the living room, too. Watch when I turn it down.
Isn't it lovely? That's the view from our picture windows.
Well, those are some of the things we've done with lighting in our home. Might give you some ideas to help you see better and look better and live better in your home, and to make your surroundings more colorful and cheerful.
We hope so, because we'd like everybody to find out how wonderful it is to live better electrically.